These are the 7 greatest Super Bowls in NFL history. The helmet catch, Malcolm Butler's pick, 28-3. Everyone thinks they know these games inside and out. 2 plays cost a team a Super Bowl. 2 players accidentally lined up wrong and won. Here's what nobody tells you about the 7 greatest Super Bowls. Let's rewind to January 1979. The Steelers battled the Cowboys for control of the 70s, with both teams chasing their 3rd championship. Cowboys linebacker Thomas Henderson went after Bradshaw before kickoff, saying he couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the A. Bradshaw proved him wrong by throwing for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns in his first career 300-yard game. This game had 17 Hall of Famers on the field, with 10 from Pittsburgh and 7 from Dallas. That's the greatest collection of NFL talent in a single Super Bowl, and that doesn't count the coaches and management. The record still stands. Black Sunday for Vegas bookmakers came when the Steelers covered by 1 point. Bookmakers lost millions on this game. Jackie Smith's drop remains one of the most infamous plays in NFL history. The Cowboys tight end was wide open in the end zone on 3rd down when he slipped and dropped what would have been an easy touchdown. Smith was a Hall of Famer playing his final game. The broadcaster called him the sickest man in America. The refs made some controversial calls in the 4th quarter. Pass interference on Benny Barnes when Lynn Swann collided with him. Replays showed they barely touched. The penalty set up Franco Harris's 22-yard touchdown run. But there's more. The umpire accidentally blocked Cowboys safety Charlie Waters from making the tackle. Harris scored untouched to make it 28-17. 19 seconds later, Swann caught an 18-yard touchdown. Pittsburgh led 35-17. The Cowboys made it interesting late. Staubach hit Dupree for a touchdown. Dallas recovered the onside kick. Then Staubach found Butch Johnson for another score with 22 seconds left. Final was 35-31. Montana's legendary 92-yard drive with 3 minutes left. What nobody knows is what happened on the game-winning play. Montana was already Joe Cool, but even legends feel pressure. The 49ers got the ball on their own 8-yard line, down 16-13. The Bengals thought they had it won. Stanford Jennings gave Cincinnati their only touchdown of the game with a 93-yard kickoff return in the 3rd quarter. It gave the Bengals a 13-6 lead. The 49ers answered immediately with Jerry Rice's 14-yard touchdown to tie it. John Taylor had 0 catches before the game winner and caught only 1 pass the entire game, a 10-yard touchdown with 34 seconds left. He wasn't even supposed to be the primary target, but Taylor had set a Super Bowl record earlier with 56 punt return yards. His 18.7 yards per return was the highest average in Super Bowl history. He stayed on the field because of his return ability. The play didn't go as designed. Roger Craig lined up right instead of left, while Tom Rathman lined up left instead of right. Both lined up wrong at the same time. Montana adjusted on the fly, and with Craig and Rice covered, Montana found Taylor open for the game winner with 1 catch all game. Jerry Rice set a Super Bowl record with 215 receiving yards on 11 catches that still stands today. Rice won Super Bowl MVP even though Montana threw for 357 yards, but it was Rice's night. Roger Craig became the first running back in Super Bowl history to gain 100 receiving yards. He finished with 71 rushing yards and 101 receiving yards on 8 catches. Montana completed 8 of 9 passes on the final drive for 92 yards. Lewis Billups dropped what would have been a game-sealing interception before Montana got the ball back. He could have been remembered the way Malcolm Butler is now. Instead, Billups dropped it. The Bengals were 1 catch away from their first championship. 1 yard short, decided by a matter of feet. Nobody believed in the Rams. They had 150-1 odds to win the Super Bowl as the worst team of the 1990s. Their starting quarterback tore his ACL in the preseason, so enter the grocery store clerk. The Rams led 16-0 before the Titans tied at 16-16. Kurt Warner hit Isaac Bruce for a 73-yard touchdown to make it 23-16 with 1 minute and 54 seconds left. The Titans drove from their own 12 to the Rams' 10 with 6 seconds left and had 1 play to tie or win. Kurt Warner was the first undrafted quarterback to win a Super Bowl. A few years earlier, he was stocking shelves at a Hy-Vee grocery store for $5.50 an hour. Mike Jones's hand placement is the only reason the Rams won. Jones wrapped up Dyson with his right arm and left hand grabbing Dyson's knee. If he'd grabbed 1 or 2 inches different, Dyson scores. Jones later said, "I thought to myself, I'm going to kill him." Kevin Dyson was caught exactly 1 yard short. The ball was spotted at the 1 as time expired. After the game, Dyson was so devastated, the stress gave him painful sores in his mouth that needed a dentist. The Titans had designed the perfect play. Dyson knew the coverage and ran the right route. Mike Jones just made a better play. Football comes down to hand placement sometimes. James Harrison's 100-yard interception return and Santonio Holmes' toe tap were both plays that should have been impossible. James Harrison was named NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, but most fans didn't know his story. The guy who'd been cut 4 times, 3 times by the Steelers and once by the Ravens, is the youngest of 14 children. He'd almost become a truck driver. That 100-yard interception return remains the longest play in Super Bowl history. Santonio Holmes told Big Ben exactly what he wanted before the final drive. Holmes walked up and tapped Roethlisberger on the hip and said, "Number 7, I want the ball right now." Roethlisberger never said anything and just threw it to him. Roethlisberger thought the throw was intercepted. He said years later, "I should have never made that throw. That throw was the dumbest throw ever. When it left my hand, I thought it was intercepted. I was like, oh my goodness, we blew it." Holmes made him look like a genius. Cardinals fans still don't think Holmes got both feet down, but there's photographic evidence proving he did. Holmes' feet never left the ground as he just stood up on his toes and extended his hands. Larry Fitzgerald's 64-yard catch and run made it look like Steelers defenders were running in quicksand. The Cardinals scored 16 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to take a 23-20 lead. The Steelers drove 78 yards in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Holmes caught 4 passes for 73 yards on the final drive, including the 6-yard game winner with 35 seconds left. Malcolm Butler's goal line interception, instead of handing to Lynch, became the most debated play call in NFL history. The decision looked insane. The Seahawks had Marshawn Lynch with 1 yard to go. Everyone in the stadium knew what was coming and expected them to hand the ball to Lynch. Except they didn't. Malcolm Butler was an undrafted rookie who barely played as the 5th cornerback on the depth chart. He started only 1 game all season, then made the biggest play in NFL history. Bill Belichick yelled at Butler in practice for this exact play. The Patriots noticed the Seahawks loved this pick play near the goal line. Belichick barked at him. "If you see that formation, you can't give ground. You've got to be ready to jump that route." Butler took notes. It was the only interception from the 1 yard line all season. Russell Wilson's eyes gave it away. Butler spotted Wilson's eyes darting in his direction, even as his head remained still. And that telegraphed everything. The pass was coming to Butler's side. Butler had entered the game in the 3rd quarter after Kyle Arrington struggled to cover Chris Matthews. The Patriots were desperate. Matthews, an undrafted receiver who hadn't caught a single pass all season, had torched them for over 100 yards. Butler replaced Arrington, shadowed Jermaine Kearse, and shut down Seattle's offense. They didn't score again. Jermaine Kearse's circus catch seconds before set the whole thing up. On the play right before, Kearse juggled the ball while flat on his back, bobbled it multiple times, and came down with it. It looked exactly like the Tyree helmet catch. Patriots fans were having flashbacks. Tom Brady gave Butler his Super Bowl MVP truck. Brady received a brand new Chevy Colorado as his MVP prize and gave it to Butler.
How do you thank Tom Brady for sending you a car?
I sent him a text message. I talked to him in person.
Butler jumped the route, picked off Wilson's pass to Lockett. Unlike Lewis Phillips 26 years earlier, Butler didn't drop his moment. Super Bowl history was made, whether good or bad, depending on the team you wanted to win. The helmet catch stopped the only 19-0 season in NFL history. The Patriots looked unstoppable. They'd gone 16-0 and crushed teams by an average of 20 points. Brady and Moss was unstoppable. The Giants were 12-point underdogs, and nobody gave them a chance. David Tyree had only 4 catches for 35 yards all regular season, while mostly playing special teams. The helmet catch was his second of 3 receptions in Super Bowl 42. He'd caught the 5-yard touchdown earlier, and it was also the last catch of his entire NFL career. Asante Samuel dropped an easier interception right before the helmet catch. On the play immediately before, Patriots cornerback Asante Samuel had a potential game-sealing pick go through his hands. Joe Buck said years later that should have been an interception. That was a whole lot easier than the Tyree catch. If Samuel holds on, the Patriots go 19-0. Manning escaped 3 Patriots defenders on one play. Jarvis Green grabbed Manning by the shoulder, while Richard Seymour grabbed him by the back of his jersey. Manning was wrapped up, and the play was dead, except Manning somehow stayed on his feet, ducked under both their arms, and scrambled backward. He also avoided Vrabel and Seau. Troy Aikman had the perfect reaction. Aikman was calling the game, and the second Manning escaped, he said, "I don't know how he got out of there." Nobody did. Manning threw to Rodney Harrison, draped all over Tyree. Harrison was in perfect position when Tyree leaped up, caught the ball with his right hand, and pinned it against his helmet. Harrison was pulling on his arm the entire way down, but the ball never touched the ground. Before the game, a teammate's mother told Tyree that God would give him the big play. When the moment came, he didn't question it and just leaped. The play gained 32 yards and gave the Giants 1st and 10 with 59 seconds left. 4 plays later, Manning hit Plaxico Burress for the game winner with 35 seconds left. Final score was 17-14 Giants, and the perfect season was over. ESPN called it the #1 play in Super Bowl history the next day. It won the 2008 ESPY Award for Play of the Year. The greatest comeback in Super Bowl history with the first Super Bowl overtime. The Patriots overcame 28-3. Falcons fans might want to look away. The Falcons led 28-3 with 8 minutes and 31 seconds left in the third quarter. ESPN's win probability gave Atlanta a 99.8% chance of winning. Everyone in the stadium knew it was over. Except Tom Brady doesn't believe in math. Robert Alford's 82-yard pick six was Brady's first in 33 postseason games. Second longest interception return in Super Bowl history. Atlanta was rolling. Tom Brady's mother had been battling cancer and couldn't attend games all season, but she made it to Houston. Before overtime, Edelman told Brady,
"Go and win this thing, baby. For your mom. For your mom, bro."
"Let's win this for your mom." Julian Edelman's circus catch kept the comeback alive. With the Patriots down 28-20, Brady's pass was tipped by Robert Alford. The ball bounced off multiple defenders before Edelman dove and caught it inches from the ground with 3 Falcons surrounding him. James White set 3 Super Bowl records in one game. He caught a record 14 passes for 110 yards, tied the record with 3 total touchdowns, and scored the first overtime touchdown in Super Bowl history. Dante Hightower's strip sack changed everything. With the Falcons in field goal range up 28-20, Hightower strip sacked Matt Ryan. The fumble pushed Atlanta out of field goal range. If they kick that field goal, the Patriots probably lose. The Falcons took a sack and a holding penalty when they could have iced it. Matt Ryan took a 12-yard sack, then a holding penalty pushed them back another 10 yards. They went from chip shot range to punting and lost 22 yards in 2 plays. The Super Bowl is lost right there. The Falcons never touched the ball in overtime. The Patriots won the coin toss, drove 75 yards, and scored on James White's 2-yard touchdown to end the game at 34-28. Under the old rules, Atlanta never got a possession. Everyone thought it was over at 28-3. It wasn't.